Hello and welcome back to the Beatdown Bandits podcast. This is season 3, episode 10 of the Beatdown Bandits podcast. I almost said good morning, and I just realized, while I was getting ready to do that, people may not be necessarily listening in the morning. So, happy, good morning, good evening, good night, good afternoon, whatever time it is. So, but yeah, I guess saying good morning right off of the bat is probably not the best way to do that. But anyway. Season 3, episode 10 of the Beatdown Bandits podcast. I am Colin, and it's not morning here. It is late afternoon. So we are discussing 5 things today, as you can see on the wall behind me. We're discussing 5 things today that you may not know about me. Some of you may, but probably at least not all of these things, right? So let's just get rolling with it. I have my 5 things listed here that I want to discuss, but I don't have any notes below them. It's just a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I don't know how long or what I'm going to say about each one, but we're just going to wing it a little bit. Okay. So number 1 is my work. So I do work about 50 hours a week, which does make getting content out there, which has nothing to do with YouTube or video game content or this podcast. It has nothing to do with any of that. I have a normal 9 to 5 type of a job, but I typically start working between 7 and 7:30 in the morning, and I usually don't finish up until about 5 to 5:30 every evening. So there are some days where it's not too bad, where I don't have as many meetings or a lot as many things going on, where maybe once a week I can actually not eat lunch at my desk or something like that. But I do work from home. My work stuff is directly behind me here. I used to sit on the opposite side, so right now, my gaming stuff and this PC and stuff are over in this corner of this room. I just switched these recently, painted my walls, things like that. So I had just switched, but I used to work right back here at this desk back there. But now everything excuse me, I used to game back there, work over here. Now I work back here, game over in this corner. So we just made that switch, maybe a couple months ago. And I've enjoyed it. I think the reason why I switched it because I'm in so many Zoom meetings or whatever, and I have a window right here, so there's always glare behind me, so I'm very whited out in work meetings, which is not a huge deal. Maybe at some point I will put something over this giant window right here, and it won't be as whited out. I mean, you can tell from my face right here where the sun is coming in, right? So, but anyway, like I said, I do work right at about 50-ish hours a week, sometimes a little less. But so I work for a small business. They're based out of Detroit, Michigan. I live near Columbus, Ohio. But I've been with this company for almost 11 years now. And we do managed print services for other size businesses. I mean, small, medium, large, it doesn't really matter. Typically, more medium to large size is what we do. But we manage print for companies. Is basically what we do. We do our best to try to lower people's print. We can sell these service printers and provide parts and toner, provide technicians to be even ingrained in the companies or whatever. So when I first started 11 years ago, my first couple of years, I was actually a technician, and I worked for one of our, at the time, was our biggest customer. Still considered one of our top 3 or 4 customers, but I don't think they are anymore. But it was our biggest customer at the time. And I was a technician, so I showed up at this customer site every single day for years. I still work with that customer pretty much every single day, but I've had multiple promotions over the years, and I just recently, a couple months back, got a new promotion, and I kind of oversee several other groups. which is nice. So I'm not quite as ingrained with just one customer anymore. So one customer doesn't have like that much say in what my normal like day to day type stuff is. So, but basically, I oversee like several of our tech teams. I myself am pretty uh, what's the best word? I am not great at I'm pretty rusty when it comes to like physically working on things anymore. I just don't do that. I haven't really for years and years and years. So just not as good, especially with like newer equipment. But I really just manage people anymore, which I've really enjoyed doing. It's always got, for anybody who manages different people or whatever, like it's definitely got its different types of struggles and things, but overall, like I really love it. I love the company that I work for. Things are really good. So I really enjoy it. There are definitely days that are stressful, but I've definitely never considered leaving, and if I do, it would be with another like small business. I don't think going back into any like big businesses is something that I would like to do. Prior to this, I worked for like a Fortune 100 company, a smaller section of that Fortune 100 company, but I did, and it's just not for me. I did not enjoy it, and it was definitely a number. Most of the people that I worked, I mean, everybody pretty much knew everybody's name, but there's no the nice thing with like the small business is like we're an open book management company as well, so everybody has a say in everything. Everybody sees the financials, everybody knows everything, as far as that goes. So there's nothing hidden. We all help with everything, so it's pretty nice. um but anyway, I mean that's kind of like what I do. I also oversee a lot of projects and then a lot of like implementations and such. I have a project management background, so prior to like my last couple kind of promotions, I was like a project manager, so I still oversee that for some teams and some groups, things like that. So I still do a lot of project management, but 90% of my role anymore is really just managing people, which is great. So number two, the second thing that you may not know about me is I used to also coach basketball and track. Um, Not really that much at the same time. Now, granted, like basketball, at least in the state of Ohio, is a winter sport, and track is a summer, or excuse me, a spring sport. So they would never really overlap. But I started off coaching probably like 17, 18 years ago, something like that. Yeah, somewhere thereabouts. And was coaching eighth grade boys basketball, and all the basketball I ever did was always eighth grade boys. I coached that for, I don't know, about 5 years or so. I did like 4 years, and then I stopped coaching for like basketball, at least for a few years, and then I coached one more year. My nephew was going into eighth grade. They needed a coach. I'm like, yeah, it'll be fun. They were a good group, and so it wasn't a bad thing. And I won of those 5 years. Like I won like two of our like conference championships. So had decent success, but I was always coaching at like a small school with basketball, and you kind of just get lucky. Like one year, you could have like a handful of decent athletes, and the next is just maybe not so much. So you're not always going to be blessed with like tons of like legit people. So but decent amount of success with basketball. And then track, I started off as an assistant, um, and then uh, and then when I started working for the company I'm working for now, so I started off at the same school I was coaching basketball, and was just an assistant coach. And we had a lot of luck. Sent a lot of guys like state meets and things like that, and had a lot of luck with it. And when I got this job 11 years ago, I was having to go about 45-mile like commute or whatever, 45-minute commute. And um, it was impossible for me to make it back in time. And I really wanted to coach track still. And I ended up just like got extremely lucky with a position coaching at a school in Columbus as a like hurdles and jumps coach. And school was super legit. Their boys team was coming off of a state championship, and we ended up kind of going back to back. So I came in as an assistant coach with an elite program with boys and girls. I was there for 2 years. The my first year, the boys team were state champions, and then the girls were state runners up. And then in my second year, the boys were third in the state and the girls were fourth in the state. So literally was 1, 2, 3, and 4 in 2 years with the boys and the girls. But several state champions out of that. Every event I coached, I had sent people to the state meet between high jump, long jump, and hurdles. Um, there was several particular athletes who were legit at just everything that they could do, and that was really awesome. That was a great experience. Also was able to kind of bring home, state championships with that. So that was really awesome. So that was great. But after that, I was working from home. So I had kind of got some, like a promotion, was working from home then at that point, and I no longer had to go down to Columbus. I was working from home most of the time. And so I was able to kind of go back to my old school and, bring a state title, and I became the head girls coach of the track program there. And I won a conference coach of the year. I was the head coach for 2 years. I was an assistant coach for 1 or 2 years, and then the head coach for like 2 years, and won a coach of the year. And girls team that we had, we were super small, but had a lot of luck, and a lot of good athletes that came through. So yeah, that went really well, I think. But as I got more and more responsibilities at work, I don't get out until like 5 o'clock, and by then their practices are over. So it's really hard for me to make it out there anymore. So I have not been able to coach the last several years, and that's kind of been unfortunate. But that's kind of my coaching experience. So yeah, I do have plenty of that, but that was all a lot of fun. I hope maybe someday I can kind of do it. I've considered like even like becoming like a track official, because it's a fairly simple task, and it would also keep me around track a little bit too. So the number three, number third, I almost said number third. The number three thing, the third thing, this is a really hard thing to say. The third thing that you may not know about me is I am married and I have 2 kids. So along with all the working and stuff, I still have a home life, right? And I've been married. I got married in 2006. So I've been married for quite a while now. And a year after we had our first kid. So our son was born in 2007, and then my daughter was born in 2012. So she turns 10 this year. My son is about to turn 15 in a couple months. So which means I've been married for 16 years. So there we go. So yeah, my son's about to turn 15, and yeah, my daughter's about to turn 10. I mean, hers is not until the fall. So but she is 9. She will turn 10 this year. So obviously that's a lot of responsibilities and such. So yeah, I guess that's really all I wanted to say about that. I feel like there was something else I was going to ramble on, but more or less it's just like I got a lot going on, and I do my best to make content and put out videos, and keep this podcast somewhat alive. And that's always been my goal, but it's hard with kids and such. So number 4, the fourth thing that you may not know about me, is I actually wanted to be a surgeon and was going to go to med school, but money is a thing. I grew up without having a lot of it. I also didn't try like super hard in school. I just was somebody who never like really applied himself until like my junior senior year, and then finally, everything was like super easy. But I just never really tried or never really did homework. I still got like all A's and B's and stuff, but I actually really loved, and this is not a joke, and I still love the show. Is the TV show MASH, um, and uh, and I really just loved and kind of fell in love with surgery at that point. My mom was in medicine, and like all my family pretty much had like a science type of a background anyway. That stuff was easy. It was not as exciting for me. But by the time I kind of got through high school, I kind of realized like one, like my grades were fine, but scholarship wise, I was going to end up having to not get a lot and have to pay a lot to go to med school and stuff. So just trying to get through all that was going to be a nightmare. Um, and I had a technical aptitude for different things, so I kind of went to some place I could afford because I was paying for a lot of it myself. And so I went to a place that I could afford and something else that I knew I could at least do, whether I liked it or not, pretty much. But yeah, I actually wanted to be a surgeon. Back when I was in high school, I really loved MASH. And like I said, I still watch it. I literally was watching some episodes last night. So I watched that show pretty religiously. And yeah, I definitely wanted to be a surgeon. Just was one of those things that just never panned out. And finally, number five is I actually only play video games like twice a week. So most days, probably 5, 6 videos a week is what I tend to put out. I usually don't have much on Sundays, or maybe like once in the middle of the week, I end up skipping something, but most days I have a video out there. Um, I always have this internal debate about like, should I just do like 1 or 2 videos a week and make it just like the legit best content, or do I just work and grind and grind and grind and put out videos, even if they're just average, and wait until I find my audience? And I have like 1,400 videos, and I don't even know. I don't, half the time I don't even know what I'm doing. But yeah, I really only play like Wednesdays and Saturdays for about 5-ish hours, like 7:30 to 12:30 or so, 7:30 to maybe 1 a.m. Depends on how tired I am. Plus that those Wednesday night gamings, and I have to get up super early on Thursdays. Those are usually pretty rough mornings. But usually like the Saturday nights, just depends on what I do on Saturdays. Sometimes like I'm just mentally drained, where I just don't want to play for more than like a couple hours. So usually I do my best to turn that content into something. There are times where like I will take a lunch break. Like a lot of times, like I record this podcast during like a lunch break. Like I just take like 30 to 45 minutes to record something. Like this one I'm doing like right after work today, just to get it recorded and get something out there, and have enough time to get it either edited or whatever and put up for Saturday. So gotta upload it for all the Spotify and all those users as well. So you got to upload it multiple times, and so it just takes a little bit of time. But yeah, I pretty much have to like crank out videos from like that content. And then like as I was getting ready to say, about once a week or so, just because like the timing adds up with like my friend Camio, who is in Germany. So there's like 6-hour difference between us. I usually end up like trying to find a little bit of time, like at least like once a week during the during the day, to try to play a little bit and record something, or very least, or I try to help him out with some type of content. Um so yeah, like really like 3 times a week, but sometimes we don't always get a chance to do that. So that might only be like every other week where we do something and get something recorded that way. But so yeah, those are those 5 things that you may not have known about me. So it's pretty quick episode, I think. So but yeah, I have I think I shared the last time, like I have like a ton of things I want to get recorded for this. But I've had this particular episode like on the back burner for like the last 3 episodes because I wanted to do some of the March Madness type stuff and some of the brackets, and I wanted to get those busted out in March. Well, now that we're going into April, I wanted to get this one out. So like this was something I've had written down forever, and I just haven't been able to do. So we're getting that out, but I do have a lot of other content coming. I think I skipped last podcast. But I should be able to get a lot of stuff recorded here soon, so shouldn't have to skip any more Saturdays for a while anyway. So but that is it for me. Again, thank you very much for watching. As I'm wearing my Arizona shirt today for anybody who's watching on YouTube. My wife always yells at me. She goes down to Arizona every like spring break to visit like one of her cousins, and so my daughter, they like take a little like girls trip down there, and I always say like it's a dry heat, right? And so there's a skeleton crawling through the desert, and so yeah, stay forever. It's a dry heat. I don't know if you can see that right there, but anyway, that is it for me. Again, I appreciate everybody for watching and listening to the Beatdown Bandits podcast, or heck, any of my videos. I really appreciate you all. And yeah, again, like I've pimped this out a couple times. I am looking for guests. I've had a couple things brewing and in the works. So I do need to get some more guests in this season. At least through 2022. So if you know anybody you would like for me to reach out to, definitely let me know. You can reach me at any of my socials or commenting on this video. And yeah, that is it. Again, thanks. Later.